What need can be more basic than the need for water? We all know that this nectar of life is being rapidly polluted. But how can you find out whether the water you are using is safe or not? Development Alternatives has designed the JAL-TARA water testing kit so that you can find out how safe the water coming from sources next to you really is. You don't need a science background to use the kit. You can learn how to use it by following the steps shown here and reading the manual carefully. JAL-TARA is a portable laboratory and can be used to perform basic tests to check the potability of water at the site itself. You can test the quality of water, be it from a tap, a river, a lake or groundwater. We will now show you how to go about collecting water samples and guide you through 14 different tests. Open the kit. You will find a tray that holds graduated test tubes, grooves to hold the test tubes upright, forceps, cloth duster, sieve, plastic tray, 1 milliliter and 2 milliliter syringes, magnifying lens, funnel, thermometer, a test tube holder. Below the tray you have distilled water, sample bottle, washing bottle, number of chemicals in glass and plastic bottles. You also have a spirit lamp, a waste collection beaker, dissolved oxygen or DO bottle, a scoop. The upper JAL-TARA cover holds turbidity tubes, pH paper, filter paper, tissue paper, gloves, manuals, empty dropping bottles, bottle caps. The manuals are illustrated and easy to follow. The big manual has more details and is divided into 4 sections. The first section gives background information on the quality of water and the factors that affect it. The second section helps you prepare for the trip to the site. The third section deals with the testing process. And finally, the fourth section tells you what to do after you have analyzed the water quality. The smaller manual is designed to be used on the field. A Hindi manual is also available on request. The manuals also contain color comparison charts and data record sheets. Always read the manual before starting and keep referring to it as you do the tests. Make sure your JAL-TARA kit is complete before you begin collecting and testing water samples. The quantities of the chemicals given can test for 100 water samples. The chemicals have a shelf life of 6 months. Some bottles have been sealed to avoid leakage during transportation. This is how you should replace the sealed caps with dropper caps for easy use. You will also need copies of blank data record sheets, some clean bottles for collecting samples and a permanent marker to label them. The main water sources are tap or municipal water, groundwater, and surface water, with each source having its own criteria for sampling. Always use clean bottles to collect samples. Also write the date, time, location, and kind of sample source on the bottle with a permanent marker. Here are a few do's and don'ts, things to remember while collecting samples. Let the water run for approximately a minute before collecting. Rinse the bottle with the sample water before filling it. Do not let the water flow through your hands. And do not let the mouth of the bottle touch the tap. Observe and note down the conditions around the water source as these affect the quality of the water. Open the kit and set it up in a convenient place. Locate the test from the manual's index. Take out all the things required for that test. Keep them together. Read the general precautions given in the manual before starting the tests. You should sterilize the tap before collecting the sample. Coliform bottles should be filled directly from the water source, so fill it up while collecting water sample. Wash your hands. Fill the bottle directly from the source, leaving 2 centimeters empty. Do not let your fingers touch the inside of the bottle or the water sample while filling. Do not collect the water sample from any container like a matka or a jug. Close the lid firmly and keep bottle at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 to 48 hours. If water turns black after 48 hours, it indicates the presence of coliform bacteria. Take pH paper strip. Make sure that your hands are clean and dry. Tear a small piece of paper. Dip it into sample water. Dry it for a few seconds. Do not touch the wet part. Compare the color with pH color chart. In this, the pH value is between 8 and 9. For each test, open the manual's index and locate the relevant page in section 3. Slide the end of the upper tube into the open end of the lower tube and fix the interchangeable joint. Look down vertically at the black cross through the open end of the upper tube from a distance of 10 centimeters. Shake the water sample and pour it slowly into the tube. Hold the tube perpendicular over a white paper about 3 inches above the ground. Keep observing the black cross from the top of the tube through the column of water. Avoid air bubbles while pouring the sample. Stop pouring the water sample when the black cross just disappears. Do not shake the tube or stress your eyes to see the black cross. Compare the level of water to the closest graduation mark on the tube. Record this value. Record observations for each test in the data recording sheet. If the water sample is turbid, it has to be filtered to perform the other tests. Fold the filter paper into a cone and place in the funnel. Place the funnel on a test tube. Wet the filter paper with sample water. Slowly pour the sample water in the funnel. Use the filtrate in the test tube for testing. Locate residual chlorine in the index. Each chemical bottle in the kit has a sticker on its cap, indicating the test for which it is used. Match the symbol at the top of the page in the manual with the stickers. Place everything that you need in the plastic tray. Before using the test tubes, wash them with distilled water. There are 2 bottles of distilled water. One is for washing and the other is for testing. Transfer 10 milliliters of water sample to a clean test tube. Remember to hold the tube at eye level. See that the lower curve of the water touches the 10 ml mark. If the pH value is less than 9, add 4 drops of orthotoluidine. If it is greater than 9, add 8 to 10 drops. Compare the color of the test tube with the standard color chart. Do the color comparisons in natural light. Make sure the test tube is on the white background and not on a colored one. Record corresponding value in data record sheet. Collect the waste solutions in a beaker. Dilute it with sample water and dispose it away from the source. Remember, it goes back into the natural cycle. Wash the test tube with sample water after each test. Open the manual's index and locate the relevant page. Transfer 5 milliliter of water sample. Add 2 to 3 drops of Nestler's reagent. Nestler's reagents give a soapy feeling on contact with skin. If this happens, wash it off with water immediately. Compare the color with standard color chart. Transfer 50 milliliter of water sample to a test tube. Add zirconyl alizarin reagent till 52.5 milliliter mark. Mix the solution by pouring into another test tube. Be careful, do not drop. Set the solution aside for an hour for the color to develop. Compare the color with standard color chart by looking through the top of the test tube. The sample will turn dark pink if the fluoride is low and yellow if it is high. Transfer 5 milliliter of water sample. Add 1 to 2 drops of ammonia buffer. Remember to replace the caps on the chemical bottles after using them. Add a pinch of Erichrome black tea powder and shake the test tube. Use 1 milliliter syringe for this test, but wash it with distilled water before you use it. Take 1 milliliter of EDTA solution in the syringe. Draw the liquid slowly to avoid air bubbles. Air bubbles can be removed after bringing them to the syringe tip by inverting the syringe. Titrate till color changes from wine red to blue. Add drop by drop and shake after each drop. Note the milliliter volume of EDTA consumed to calculate the value of hardness in water. Use formula from the manual to calculate hardness. Wash syringe again after completing the test. Transfer 5 milliliter of water sample. Add 1 drop of potassium chromate. Hold the test tube straight so that it does not flow along the walls of the tube. Rinse a 1 milliliter syringe and fill it with silver nitrate solution. Silver nitrate should be kept away from light, so recap it immediately. Titrate till a permanent brick red color just appears. Shake the tube after each drop. Note the milliliter volume of silver nitrate consumed to calculate the value of chloride in water. You need the spirit lamp for this test. Unscrew the cap of the spirit lamp and then the cotton wick. Pour the spirit in the lamp with the help of the beaker. Take 5 milliliter of water sample in test tube. Light the spirit lamp. Before lighting, be careful that the spirit does not get spilled on the lamp's outer surface. Insert the test tube in the test tube holder and secure it. Heat the sample. Place the test tube in a slanting position. The mouth should be away from you so that the fumes do not hit you. If the liquid tends to bubble out, take the test tube away for a few seconds. Shake gently while heating continuously. Heat till the liquid evaporates to complete dryness. Let it cool to room temperature before adding any reagents. Add 8 to 9 drops of PDA. PDA is highly corrosive, so be careful. Rotate the cylinder to dissolve all the residue at the bottom in PDA. Take a clean syringe and fill 2 milliliter of distilled water. Add to test tube. Open the lid of ammonia bottle carefully with a duster. If temperature is more than 30 degrees Celsius, then ammonia gas starts escaping from bottle. If so, you can cool it by immersing in cold water. Add 23 drops of ammonia solution. Add distilled water till solution reaches the 5 ml mark. Wipe the lower end of test tube with a tissue paper for clarity. Compare the color. Transfer 5 milliliter of sample to test tube. Take 0.4 milliliter of hydrochloric acid with 2 milliliter syringe and add to test tube. Add 4 drops of hydroxylamine hydrochloride. Replace the caps of each bottle as soon as the contents have been used. Heat the sample on a spirit lamp till the liquid is reduced to 1/3 of its initial volume. Remember to keep the mouth of the cylinder away from yourself and others too. If the spirit lamp has a yellow flame, the test tube will turn black. Clean with a duster if this happens. Allow it to cool to room temperature. Take 1 milliliter of ammonium acetate buffer with 2 milliliter syringe. Add to test tube. Take 0.4 milliliter of phenanthroline reagent with 2 milliliter syringe. Add to test tube. Use separate syringes for each reagent. Take distilled water in a 2 milliliter syringe and add till 5 ml mark. Wait for 10 to 15 minutes for the color development. Wipe the lower end of the cylinder for clarity. Compare the color with standard color chart. The procedure for sampling and testing for rivers, lakes or streams is different from that of drinking water. It is best to take samples from the center of the water body. Try not to disturb the water while sampling. Rinse the sample bottle with sample water. Submerge the bottle below the surface of water and lift the sample. Remember to mark the bottle with sample details. Dip the bulb completely for sufficient time in river, stream or the sample bottle. Read the level in the thermometer. Record. Dissolved oxygen test should be performed on the site itself. Look at the manual and take out the things required. Fill the DO bottle without allowing any air bubbles. Place the lid immediately within the water. Collect the sample against the flow of the stream. Avoid turbulent water. Open the lid of DO bottle carefully and add 3 to 4 drops of manganese sulfate. Add the chemicals quickly. Add 3 to 4 drops of alkaline potassium iodide and replace the lid immediately. Pour out the excess as the liquid volume increases. Shake the bottle. Keep the lid on the DO bottle. This is necessary to prevent atmospheric oxygen from getting in. Allow the suspension to settle for a minute. Add 8 to 10 drops of phosphoric acid. Pour out the excess water. Shake the bottle to dissolve suspension completely. Transfer 10 milliliter of solution into the test tube. Add 1 to 2 drops of starch. The starch should not be older than a month. Take 1 milliliter of sodium thiosulfate in 1 milliliter syringe without any air bubbles. Titrate till blue color disappears. Find the volume of thiosulfate used. Calculate and record. Wash the test tube with 2 milliliter dilute hydrochloric acid and then rinse thoroughly with distilled water, followed by sample water. Transfer 12 milliliter of water sample to the test tube. Take 0.4 milliliter of ammonium molybdate reagent with 2 milliliter syringe. Transfer it to the test tube and shake it. To this, add 2 drops of stannous chloride and shake again. Wait 10 minutes for the color to develop and then compare with standard color chart. Record the corresponding value in the data record sheet. Collect the benthic sample by standing against the water current. Use the scoop to dig out a sample of mud from the riverbed. Transfer contents to the sieve. Float the sieve on the surface repeatedly to wash off the mud. The benthic organisms are left in the sieve. Using the forceps, transfer the benthic organisms from the sieve to the formalin bottle. Take the plastic tray. Divide it into 3 equal parts by drawing 2 parallel lines. Swirl the plastic container containing the benthic organisms and pour out the specimens on the tray. Now move each of the organisms using the forceps to the nearest line. This way, at the end of the arrangement, all the organisms will be associated with one of the parallel lines. Beginning from the left, compare each organism with the preceding one. If the second organism is like the first, consider both as belonging to one run. If the third organism is unlike the first two, record it as a new run. Calculate the sequential cumulative index and diversity index by referring to the calculation given in manual. Clean the test tubes after testing. If excessively dirty, use the brush or hydrochloric acid to clean them. Wash the syringes. Close the caps of the chemicals tightly. Replace any soiled labels so that you can identify the chemical later. Dust the kit and chemicals. Store the kit in a cool place. Do not zip up the kit fully.